give me a couple minutes to get set up here, and then we'll start with this. Just gonna pull up. Ooh, my face is probably all up in your face. Gonna pull up the chat window. I'm not really gonna wait for people to join or whatever, because no one ever joins on time. And I don't really schedule these in advance and let people know what's going on. So I did set up, I did work like halfway through this guide last night or something. I still have all that court stuff to do, but this is way more fun. Yeah, I did go like halfway through the guide yesterday, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'll record it. So, hey, someone's here. Is it me that's here? It might just be me on my laptop that's here. Yeah, so I went through like half the guide, and then was like, all right, I'll record it. And so then I just completely reinstalled Ubuntu on my server and got everything set up. So here's my server down here. It's this bottom one, and I talked about this in my other video, but the hardware specs on it, it's a i3-10100 Intel CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 1 terabyte SSD, and 450 watt power supply, and yeah, that's about it. My Ubuntu install, all that I really changed on it, so I just changed some Firefox settings, just looked over the settings or whatever. I installed MetaMask in Firefox, then just went through the regular Ubuntu settings to change whatever Ubuntu settings. I set up TeamViewer on it, and then I installed LM sensors, which just lets you check CPU temps, and then I disabled animations like the windows. Instead of windows fading in and out, now they just pop up. So with that stuff out of the way, let's get started. I'm gonna show you guys like everything that I can, minus like any sensitive information like private keys and all that stuff. And hopefully all goes well. I mean, I'm gonna have to man the camera while I'm doing this stuff. So yeah, so this is, I just have it on that monitor right there, but put up onto this computer, and I just have sensors up just to see CPU temps for really no reason, because I'm sure that they're fine, but 29 degrees C, I'm sure it's fine. I just want to look. And I just have my resource monitor here, and just regular, move up a little bit, just regular Ubuntu install. And I have 924 gigs free, and there's that stuff. So now in terminal, this is a step-by-step guide, and it's basically just install Ubuntu, install Geth, and then this is with Prismatic Labs with Prism. And I'm using Prism just because it's the easiest one. It's what I've used in the past, and there's a guide for it. And so then MetaMask. So warning, staking requires at least 32 ETH plus gas fees. Do not send ETH anywhere without knowing what you are doing. This guide, center that. This guide includes instructions to safely deposit your ETH for staking on the ETH2 mainnet using official methods. Never send your ETH to anyone. Acknowledgements, disclaimer. This article, this guide, is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. Meaning go support, prerequisites. Prerequisites are this guide assumes knowledge of Ethereum, ETH, staking, Linux, and MetaMask, or Portis or Fortmatic. I guess those are two wallets. This guide also requires the following before getting started: Ubuntu server, and that's what I have installed, and MetaMask, and I have that installed. Testnet to mainnet. So if you have this already installed on testnet, you can move from the testnet to the mainnet. Requirements, this says relatively modern CPU. My CPU is modern. I received it in the mail the other day. 8 gigs of RAM, 16 better. I have 16 and 1 terabyte stable internet with sufficient download speed. So I did install Geth yesterday and had it run, and it was like 300 gigs it used on the SSD. And I'm not sure if it was finished syncing or not, but I think it probably was. This is the stuff we're covering. I don't know. I'm not really going to look at this. Why do I have to touch things? Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm just on my phone live streaming. I don't feel like making a whole edited video about this. The conceptual flow through the guide is generate the staking validator keys and deposit data, prepare the Ubuntu server, firewall, and security. So I think when I was doing this, we'll talk about it later, but I think this stuff may be more for SSH, but so I'm not sure if that really applies to me. Set up ETH1 node and sync it with the ETH1 blockchain. So that's just Geth Go Ethereum. Configure the Prism client and sync it to the ETH1 node. Deposit ETH validator keys. So generating staking data. In order to participate in staking, it is necessary to generate some data files based on the number of validators you'd like to fund and operate. So yesterday I set this up with 1, but I'm going to set it up with 3 today, just in case I decide to use the other 2. Each validator requires 32 ETH, and I said this in another video, but if you run multiple validators on the same node, then you'll be getting more rewards, and so then the cost of the hardware should the server that I built was about $600, so I'll recoup that money faster the more validators that I run. For example, if you plan to run 5 validators, you'll need to have 160 ETH plus some extra to cover fees. ETH deposit contract will happen later in the guide. So download the deposit tool, the CLI command line interface. Go here to get the latest release. So I'll just open up Firefox and go here. And then what we need is the one for Ubuntu. So the SHA-256, we don't need that one. That's the validation file, like not the MD5 sum, but like the checksum. So we need this targz, right? AMD. Oh, what am I looking at? Why are there so many of them? Oh, Windows, Linux. Oh, Darwin is Mac. So Linux. It gets even more confusing too because they also have ARM ones, so it's ARM. So yeah, this is the one that we need. So we'll just download that and save that. So back to the guide. In the assets section, download the version matching the platform you're using, run the deposit tool, decompress the archive. It should be a binary file executable inside. The deposit tool generates files for staking as well as the mnemonic key. This must be handled securely. There are two options to proceed from here. Recommended, copy the binary file to a USB drive, connect to a fully air-gapped machine, never previously connected to the internet, copy the file over and, you know, maybe if I'm live streaming this, I mean, you guys don't know my IP address or anything. I think I'm fine with being connected to the internet with this, but whatever. So, all right, so what are we doing here? So you gotta go to downloads, and we don't need my TeamViewer thing here. And we will open with Archive Manager. Or no, we'll just extract it. So, yeah, so let me think to make sure I'm doing this right. I think we're just running this file. When ready, run the file in terminal window. To continue using the commands below, replace number of validators with the number of validators you want to run. So we'll just copy this into terminal here and replace the number of validators with 3. And I think we need to, what is it, cd dot slash downloads. And then we can run this. No. Okay, because it's not here, I guess, because we have to cd to this, but I'm just gonna copy this. Do I want to? I'm like, oh, I can do this easy and just copy this out of here and put it in here, or I can type in the. I can type in this name. I guess we can just type in this name. Just in case we need this file path. That didn't work. Okay, whatever. That didn't work either. Wait. Okay, that worked. So now just choose your language and we'll go English. And I'm not going to show you guys this part because this is where my passwords will be, or not my passwords, my public mnemonic stuff. But I will show you it in the guide. So let me just take this. Type the password that secures the validator key store. And then I'm just gonna take a screenshot. It'll give you a mnemonic. I'm going to take a screenshot of it and save it. Okay, I think I'm good to show you guys now. So I'll just show you guys in this guide. So what happens after it tells you after you pick what language, then you set a password for the validator key store file, and then it'll give you a mnemonic to copy down, and I just took a screenshot of this and save that. So then once you confirm, then it'll have you confirm that you actually took a backup of this, and then it'll show you all this, and it'll say press any key to continue, and that's what I have on my thing. The newly created validator keys and deposit data file are created at this specific location. The contents of the folder are shown below. So if we look at, we have a validator keys file created now, and there's let me see if these file names are shareable. Well, there's 3 key store files in the folder now because I created 3 validators and then 1 deposit data file in it. So then next, notes about the files. The deposit data, this file contains public keys for validators and information about staking deposit. The file will be used to complete the ETH deposit process later on. And the key store file contains the encrypted validator signing key. There's 1 key store per validator, so there's 1 key store file per validator. These will be imported into the Prism validator wallet for use while staking. You'll copy these files over to the Ubuntu server if not already there. Final steps. Now that you have the deposit data and key store files, move on to the setup of Ubuntu server. Do not deposit at this moment yet. It's important that you complete and verify your staking setup first. If the ETH deposit becomes active and your staking setup is not ready, you'll start receiving validators or penalties for non-activity. So using a SSH client. So I'm not using SSH, I'm using TeamViewer, but we're gonna do all this stuff anyway. So let me take a short little sip of water. I'm surprised no one's here yet. Usually well, it is Saturday at 9 o'clock at night, so everyone's probably up partying or doing whatever young crypto people do. All right. So using SSH, connect to your Ubuntu server. If you're logged in as root, then create a user level account. So I already have all this stuff done. Create a new user, replace username, grant admin rights to the new user by adding it to the sudo group. So that's already done when I installed Ubuntu Desktop. Optional if used SSH keys to connect to Ubuntu server instance via the root user. You'll need to associate the new user with the SSH with the root user's SSH data. All right. Make sure the system is up to date with the latest software and security updates. So we'll do this just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it already is. So just put the camera down real quick. Oh, why am I getting ready to type stuff out? I can just copy and paste. Oops. So these are just like operating system updates. I don't think I need to reboot. Should I reboot? 0 newly installed, 1 to remove, 1 not upgraded. Yeah, so nothing was installed, so I don't need to reboot. All right, so now secure the server. Security is important. There's not a comprehensive guide, so modify the default SSH port. Port 22 is a default SSH port and a common attack vector. Like I said, I'm not sure if I need to do this because I'm not using SSH unless it's just default running on this. I'm not really sure, but change the SSH port to avoid this. Choose a port number between 1024 and 49151 to run the following command to check it's not already in use. A blank response indicates not in use. A red text response indicates that it is in use. Try a different port. So we will use, I guess I won't tell you which port I'm going to use. All right, a blank response indicates not in use. Cool. If confirmed available, modify the default port by updating SSH config. So we'll copy this to here. And, oh, this is the one thing. So I guess probably because this file isn't created, there's nothing in it. So I'm not really sure. I don't even remember what port I just chose. Yeah, I do. All right. Yeah, so we'll just type this in here. And then we'll just press Control X and Y and enter. So that just saves the file. So then restart the SSH service, sudo system, whatever, restart. Oh, I guess like, yeah, we're not using SSH because my command says that ssh.service is not found. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, so now the firewall stuff. All right, Ubuntu 20.04 servers can use default UFW firewall to restrict inbound traffic to the server. Before you enable it, allow inbound traffic for SSH, Go, Ethereum. Before you enable it, allow inbound traffic for SSH, Go, Ethereum, and Prism. So install UFW should be installed by default, but just install it anyway. And yeah, it is installed. Apply the UFW defaults. So it's going to deny all incoming traffic and allow all outgoing traffic. Then allow, so this is just set incoming traffic from your port number. So we're just copying this command, changing this to be the port number that we chose before. I don't think I have to do this because I'm not using SSH, but we will still do it. And there's no way that I have to keep my port number private. Like, there's no way. But I was saying that because I wanted a closed terminal window so that my port number wasn't in the window. So deny inbound traffic on port 22. Only do this after you SSH in. So only do this after your SSH into using your new port number, because if you do it afterwards, you won't be able to connect. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so then we just need to allow the ports for Go Ethereum for Geth. So allow P2P connections for Go Ethereum peers port 3033. If using an ETH1 node hosted by a third party, you can skip this step. If you are hosting your Ubuntu instance locally, your internet router may need to be configured to allow traffic to that port as well. So I'm all good on that, but that. So then allow Prism. Allow the Prism ports, so 13,000 and 12,000. And this should secure your server in that only the necessary traffic from the allowed programs will go in and out of the server. So no one can like hack into your server or whatever. Enable the firewall and verify rules have been correctly configured. So firewall is active and enabled on system startup, and the numbered thing should show everything here. And then yeah, you can see port 9976. All right. Configure timekeeping. Ubuntu has time synchronization. I think I'm already set up like this, but do this anyway. Then we just verify that it should be active, and yeah, it is active. And then if not, then turn it on with this, and there. You should only be using a single keeping service, timekeeping service. If you're using NTPD from a previous install, you can check if it exists and remove it by using the following command. So I guess this one should just check if it exists, but mine should say no, right? Not found. Okay. Set up a Ethereum one node. So this is setting up Go Ethereum and syncing the blockchain. So an Ethereum node is required for staking. You can take a quick drink. You can either run a local one or a third party. This guide will provide instructions for running Geth. If you'd rather use third party, whatever, check available disk space. An ETH1 node requires roughly 400 gigs of space. Even if you have a large SSD, there's cases where Ubuntu is reporting only 200 gigs free. I'm all good on that. So install the Go Ethereum client using the PPA. So this guide is like super simple because you're really just copying and pasting stuff. So Go Ethereum will be configured to run as a background service. So we're doing this way that Geth will automatically start when the server turns on. Create an account for this service to run under this type of account. Can't log into the server. Go Ethereum will be configured to run as a background service. Create an account for this service to run under. This type of account can't log into the server. Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I guess I'm creating another Ubuntu account. Create a data directory for the ETH1 chain. This is required for storing the, so this is going to be where the blockchain data is stored. So mkdir is make directory. I don't know what -p is. Set permissions. The goeth account needs permissions to modify the data directory. Create a systemd service config file to configure the service. And then paste all this stuff into that. Notable flags. HTTP is expose an HTTP endpoint that Prism Beacon node will connect to. Cache. So I changed mine to 8 gigs the other day or yesterday, but I'm going to leave it as 2 gigs now because I don't know. Maximum number of peers to connect with. We'll just leave all that as default. And then Control XY to save this. So this is just a text editor to edit configuration files. Reload systemd to reflect changes and start the service. Check status to make sure it's running correctly. And sudo is like root access pretty much. And then now this is the text output for the geth node. So new local node record. Not 100% sure if it's running. But I think, let me check my email real quick. Just to Amazon order shipped. All right, it should say active running in green text. If not, go back and repeat the steps to fix the problem. Press Q to quit. It will not affect the service. Enable get service to automatically start on reboot. Maybe that green is what active running. Yeah, it should say active running in green text. So yeah, we're good. Press Q to quit, I guess. All right. Now enable this to start automatically when the computer reboots. The Go Ethereum node will begin to sync. You can follow the progress or check for errors by running the following command. Press Control-C to exit. It will not affect the get service. So this should just show you if it's running, and then yeah, that's all the nodes that we're connected to and the blocks and whatever. And we should see our storage space start going up, our used storage space. So we'll just Control-C to exit out of that. All right. Check sync status. To check your F1 node sync status, use the following command to access console. I think this is all one thing because this will run it next. Yes. If false is returned, then your sync is complete. I don't see a true or a false. Or maybe I have to press enter again. What am I doing here? Oh, I know what I'm doing. F dot syncing. All right. So this is just showing what block we're currently on and what block we're currently downloaded to. Then the highest, the current block on the blockchain, how many states there are and pulled states and whatever. So that's what we needed to do. What's happening is we need to type the command into there. I was typing in like caret, double carets or whatever. All right. So next. Control-D to exit when done. Add boot nodes optional. So this is to add more nodes to there. If you aren't connected to, if you're not connected to, if you're having trouble connecting to nodes, there's a list right here of all active or public nodes that you can connect to. So, or not nodes, peers nodes, same thing. So you can add some of the boot nodes to help things along. So we're not going to do that. All right, download Prism. The Prism client, I don't know how these streamers do stuff. I'm 40 minutes in and I'm like, man, talking for so long. Prism client is made of two binary files. The beacon node and the validator client will this step will download and prepare the Prism binaries. First, go here to identify the latest release. in the assets section, expand if necessary, copy the download link to the things. Be sure to copy the link. Download the files using the commands below. Modify the URL and the instructions to match the download link. All right. So this is the one where I was saying there was ARM, and you have to make sure don't download the ARM one. You need the AMD one. So we need the beacon chain and the validator file. So curl, I think, is just a download manager thing or something. So yesterday I was having a problem because I thought that was, like, I wasn't able to type that in. I thought it was a 0, but apparently it's not a 0. All right, so now we need the Linux AMD 64 one. Copy link location and paste that here. Fingers crossed it works. Yep, that's what you should get. And then we'll do the same thing for the validator link. Validator, Linux, AMD 64. All right, rename the files and make them executable. Copy them to the user local bin directory. The Prism services will then run from there. Modify the file name as necessary. So I was reading this yesterday, like, oh, I have to do this. So I was opening up like the file explorer and going to these paths. But that's not what we do. We actually do it in command line. But yeah, these are the two that we just downloaded, and it wants me to move them and rename them. So we should see these get renamed with this command, I believe. Oh, and then that's the thing, one of the things that I screwed up in yesterday. You have to change this to the current version you're on. And then, yeah, you saw it get renamed. Change this to 3. And yeah, that's what we want. Now you have to get the correct permissions for them, which is this command. And this command. And then move them to the user local bin. I think that's what this is doing. Did it? I don't know what that did, because that didn't move them. Clean up the download files. Oh, I guess CP probably copied them, not moved them. So that's why we didn't see them disappear from there. And now we're gonna RM is remove. So now we'll remove them. Yep. Note, it's necessary to follow a specific series of steps to update Prism. See Appendix B, Updating Prism, for further information. So import validator keys. Configure the Prism validator wallet by importing the validator keys you created in step 1. So, I'm getting tired. If you generated the validator key store files on a machine other than your Ubuntu server, you'll need to copy the files to the home directory. Place the files here in home. So I guess we need to take them out of downloads and put them into home. All right. It wants me to do a different file. File path. So once this inside of here, and this to be named eth2deposit.cli. And then this whole thing in the home directory. And yeah, so then we'll just delete this one. All right. I'm still surprised no one's here. Usually there's people here. All right. Create a directory to store the validator wallet data and give the current user permission to access it. The current user needs access because they will be performing the import. So change username to your logged in username. Missing operand after try Chant help. What did I do wrong? Maybe because I need capital letters where they are capital. No. Oh, maybe because I didn't copy the rest of this stuff. I guess. Oops. I think it was supposed to be all one line. Invalid user. So then go back to not using capitals. Yeah. All right, run the validator key import process. You'll need to provide the directory where the generated key store files are located. All right. All right. By downloading, accessing, or using the Prism implementation, Prism, you reference your own that you are, as you user, certify that you type accept the thing. This is where I have to be careful because I think I have to make a password or something soon. You'll agree. You will need to provide a wallet directory. This is where your new wallet be created. Use this. Okay. All right, new wallet password. Look how tired I am. No one is here. Why is no one in my live stream? All right. All right, now enter the passwords for your Validator account. I think that was this. Importing accounts, this may take a while. All right, successfully imported 3 accounts. View all of them by running accounts list. All right, create a wallet password file. Create a file to store the wallet password so the Prism Validator service can access the wallet without you having to supply the password. Add your new wallet password file. What one did I use? Oh, I guess it would be my wallet password, not my validator password. Control X, Y, enter. I think we're good. Permissions on the validator directory and password file will be set later in the guide. This import is complete and the wallet is now set up. All right, why am I crooked? Let me take a real quick break. I was trying to finish talking or chilling before you left, but I'm just taking a quick break and then we'll get back to this. Okay, now we're going to configure Prism to run as a service or whatever so that it'll automatically start when the computer starts. So create an account for the, oh, don't turn off, beacon node to run under. This type of account can't log into the server. Create the data directory for the beacon node database and set permissions. My video is probably like such a useless video because all I'm doing is just copying and pasting stuff. But I mean, I guess it's like maybe good for some of you guys to see how everything looks. All right. Let's see what we're at. Yeah, so we have 14.8. We have like 6 gigs of the blockchain downloaded. Only using 4 gigs of memory. My CPU is at 31 degrees. All right. Check the screenshot below for reference. Yep, we look the same. Right? Yeah. All right. Create and configure the service. Create a systemd service config file to configure the service. All right, notable flags, HTTP Web3 provider, change the value if you're using a remote or third-party thing. Accept terms of use required to automatically start the service. Using this flag indicates acceptance of the terms of use. So is that on true? Where are we? It's not in here. Do we have to add it? Let's see. Description, Prism and beacon node wants network online target after network online target. User Prism beacon group simple always. Check the screenshot below for reference. There is none. So I think we do put this in. Where do we put this though? Oh, I'm an idiot. It's in there already, right? Yeah, it's right there. And then change this value if you're using a third party. Yes, so we're good. So Control X, Y, Z, Control X, Y, enter. All right, reload system D to reflect the changes. This guide is so good because I followed so many guides in the past and I can't just copy and paste stuff. Start this service because everything gets so screwy. And then I'm like Googling for hours how to fix like one problem like 8 different times per guide. Start the service to make sure it's running correctly. And active running there in the top corner, so I think that's what we need to see. If you did everything right, it should say active running in green text. If not, go back and repeat the steps. Press Q to quit. Q. Enable the service to automatically start on reboot. If the ETH2 chain is post-Genesis, the Prism beacon chain will begin to sync. It will take several hours to fully sync. You can follow the progress or check for errors by running the this command. Press Control C will not reflect. All right, so what we got here. ETH beacon chain using max cover strategy on attestation aggregation, starting beacon node, starting JSON. You're using an insecure gRPC server. If you are running your beacon node and validator on the same machines, you can ignore this message. Okay. If you want to know how to enable secure connections, waiting to reach the validator deposit threshold to start the beacon chain. Did we already do that? Could not connect to proof of work chain endpoint error. Could not dial ETH1 nodes. ETH node is not finished syncing yet. So I think that's good. Oh, let's see what this says. ETH1 secret time. Processing deposits. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got. A new one here. Could not connect to. Could not dial ETH1 nodes. ETH1 node is not finished syncing yet. I think it'll probably change when it is finished syncing. Oh, ETH1 node. That's because Go Ethereum is still syncing. So we can come back and check that in the future. All right. Once the ETH2 mainnet starts up, the beacon chain and validator will automatically start processing. If your ETH1 node is still syncing, you will get the following error. It'll disappear once the sync is complete. Okay, yeah, so that's the ETH node. That's the error that we just had. Configure the Prism validator client. In this step, you'll configure and run the validator client as a service. So if the system restarts and process restarts, set up, the thing. Set up the account and directory, create an account for the validator client to run under. This type of account can't log into the server. The data directory of the validator was created in step 8, now set permissions so the Prism validator account can modify the directory. I don't know why I flipped my camera out so you can see me getting water. And nicotine gum. I don't want cinnamon. I'm really surprised no one stopped in and said anything, talked to me yet. But I did get 3 people liked the video. No one came in to watch me. Check the screenshot below for reference. 3 Prism Validator 4096. Yep. The password.txt file for the validator wallet was created in step 8. Now set permission so only the Prism validator account can read that file. Man, these guys are quite smart. I don't know anything about, I wouldn't think to do all this stuff. And, yep, we're looking how it's supposed to be looking. Create and configure the service. Create a systemd service config file to configure the service. Paste the following into the file. Notable flags. Graffiti. You're replaced with your own graffiti string. For security and privacy reasons, avoid information that can uniquely enter. Do I want to write something in here? I mean, no, this isn't really, you can't find it just from the video. You won't know which node is mine. Decisions. Do I want to put AltcoinXP? Yeah, let's do it. What did I just do? Oh. What am I doing? What did I just do? I just screwed up. Just press. Okay. Is being edited by root with nano open anyway. Yes. I guess. Oh, hopefully I didn't screw up anything. We'll just put Anthony. We'll just put... I mean, I'm making a damn video. You guys are gonna see what I put in the... these type of decisions. We'll just put hi with 3 eyes. All right. All right, reload system D to reflect the changes. What did I just press here? Don't be pressing dumb stuff, Anthony. All right, check the screenshot below for reference. If you did everything right, it should say active running green text. If not, go back and fix the steps, press Q to quit. All right, this time I don't have green text. Where am I on? Activating. Activating. Oh. Activating. Let's see. We'll just repeat these steps and see if that changes anything. Hopefully I didn't screw up that file when I pressed Control Z or something. Activating. What am I doing? Let's go back to this. Why am I pressing Control V? All right. Just delete everything from here and start over because maybe I screwed up this file. I don't know. It still just says activating. So If you did everything right, it should say active. Mine doesn't say active. But we'll continue on. So this is just, what am I doing? Quit. And this will make it start up on boot. You can follow the progress or check for errors by running this thing. And we have, it says succeeded down here. Let's see what this looks like. Started Prism to Validator client. Well, mine says, seated scheduled restart job. Restart counter is at 63. Stopped Prism Eth2 validator started. Level warning Eth2 a mainnet. Open validator wallet thing. Level error message could not read key manager for wallet. Could not initialize imported key manager. Failed to initialize key account store. Wrong password for wallet. Entered invalid checksum. Look how close we are to bottom 2. We're on fund validator key, step 11. Step 12. 2 steps away. I might need to go somewhere to ask for help because I think I screwed up. I must have screwed up something somewhere. Unless we just have to wait for the... We shouldn't have to wait for Go Ethereum to launch or to sync, because the error that I'm getting says could not initialize imported key manager, failed to initialize. We can Google the error, I guess. Can we? No, not Q, Control C. Let's see. Just Google the error. Hello, I missed attestation on my deposit is minus right now. I am using Prism, and if you're using Linux Ubuntu now, edit, I restarted the server and using NTP now. The clock is synced, but I still missed attestation. I checked the log. Read log. So this guy said that he entered the wrong password. All right, so we have to go. We have to go find what I did with password. Can you guys hear my neighbor downstairs singing? I can't concentrate with her singing. Alright, I just checked to make sure my password was correct. So let's see if that changes anything. Could not read, could not initiate, imported, failed to initialize account store. Unless maybe it's a different password. We created so many passwords. Well, we'll see. We'll change the password. think, no. Nope, same problem. So maybe if I just go through all the steps again. Oh, let's change this password back. Alright, so we'll just start from the beginning of step 10. And start over. Already exists. So far, so good. All right, the password.txt file for the validator walled was created in step 8. Now set permission so only the Prism validator account can read the file. All right. Maybe I skipped this step accidentally. What is this? All right. All right. See if this works again. So just did that. And now we will start Prism again. Make this smaller so you guys can see easier. So it just says activating. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. But I'm gonna wait until Go Ethereum syncs. And I don't think that's the issue. I think maybe I have to set the password over again and choose a new password. But I really can't do that with my neighbor downstairs making this noise. Like I can't concentrate. I don't know. Let's see. Go back to step 8. All right. Import the validator keys. Configure the Prism validator wallet by importing the validator keys you created in step 1. Copy the validator key store files if you generated the validator key store files onto an older machine. Place the files here, and that's where I have them. Good. Import key store files into the validator. Can we, I wonder, can we take these? Okay. Move them later. Import key store files into the validator. Create a directory to store the validated data and give the current, I don't know, maybe we'll just start over from step 8. Alright, so now I'm just making a new password. This girl downstairs, she has like the most fun by herself. Well, I think she has cats. Oh, and my feet are stuck together. These. Could not import accounts, could not initialize import key manager, failed to initialize account store, wrong password for wallet entered, invalid checksum. I mean, I don't think it's this password. Yeah, that's not the password that we used. What if I did? All right, we're stopping here. We'll pick up tomorrow. I'm just gonna delete everything and restart.